My name is Chris Wilson, and I work for the Greater Homewood Community Corporation as a workforce development coordinator and a community builder working in the Barclay neighborhood. I'm also a University of Baltimore student that's majoring in community studies and civic engagement and also social entrepreneurship. For the past couple of months, while I was doing community outreach and recruitment for the workforce development program, I noticed that, there were a handful of entrepreneurs in the community. Now, these entrepreneurs that I identified were pretty much small businesses, sole proprietorships, doing stuff like cleaning business, post-construction cleanup. One guy has an upholstery shop who just opened up. He actually just got a contract working with the Belvedere Hotel. And so I would go out and I would talk to these people and just, pick their brain for ideas like, so what's your scale up plan? How do you market your business? And what I noticed, although they were businesses in the technical sense that was operating, they were being able to pay their bills, they lacked some of that, that financial and entrepreneurial know-how, how they can scale their business up, do some marketing and actually grow. So I came up with the idea since for workforce development program, a lot of people were falling out of the pipeline and wasn't getting jobs going back into the community. So either, employers weren't hiring these people or that the people just probably wasn't ready for those particular jobs. So it's like the chicken and the egg type thing. So I figured, how about I step back and focus on if we can help the local entrepreneurs, help them scale up, help them step out of the shadow economy, and learn about access to credit, LLCs, how they can scale up their business and possibly hire people from the neighborhood. So, it's sort of like a win-win, a community solving its own problems. So I said, okay, I got this idea. I got to figure out, how I can reach out to gain some resources because, there was zero budget, of course, which is typical in the nonprofit world. So I said, okay, I thought about this G.I. Joe cartoon episode I seen back in the 80s. I know it's crazy. So Cobra Commander, which was a character on the G.I. Joe show, wanted to create a super soldier. So what he did was he went all the way around the world and abstracted DNA from all of the world's greatest warriors, Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, you name it. So he compiled all his DNA and put it together to form this super soldier. So I said, there's a lot of smart people in this city. It's a lot of innovative thinkers, a lot of good organizations. And I know that in Baltimore, it's all about neighborhoods. Nobody wants to work with everybody. This is my turf, whatever. Okay, cool. I figured, I could reach out to different people and maybe ask them to contribute just a little piece. Let me get a piece of you. Not DNA. It wasn't anybody's DNA. But if I could get a little bit of knowledge, point me in the right direction, and I knew that I could utilize maybe some resources from my school, University of Baltimore. Maybe I can tap some other institutions. So I was introduced to a guy, Rodney Foxworth, and we sat down, we talked and exchanged some ideas, and I realized that we had similar ideas about creating like a social enterprise to solve like these problems in the community. So he suggested that I attend this event called Baltimore Unwired, which was hosted by the Greater Baltimore Technology Council. So I said, all right, cool. I show up. So I showed up, it was packed. There's a lot of people in there, heard a ton of great ideas. So I even put in for like a slot to speak. So I got up there and I suggested that, all these ideas that I heard, were great ideas, a lot of smart people, but I'm asking if you could focus those ideas for this community. You look at Barclay neighborhood as a pilot program and you can just try your stuff out. Now, I'm not asking for cash or some commitment where you have to come through every day. Just show up for a session. Another person show up for another session. Teach us a little bit about, some technology, how we can set up our website, maybe some social entrepreneur, some engineer, some marketing, just stuff like that. So I figured if I could get a little bit from everybody, that I could create a nice program. So that's what I did. I pitched the idea and a lot of people was on board with it. And we sat down and we started brainstorming some ideas and we came up with a plan. So we decided to call it the Barclay Business School. And this particular program under the Barclay Business School will be the Social Entrepreneur Workshop, which will be a 12-week program where we bring in the local entrepreneurs and then we bring in people from the Barclay neighborhood to participate in this program. And the idea for the residents is a skill building capacity. So they would come in and maybe they didn't have anything to put on their resume. So they'll work closely with these entrepreneurs, learn about accounting, marketing, different things like that. We'll go on field trips, reach out to different organizations and go there and do some hands-on work and to see how a social enterprise operates. So we'll do that. I'll encourage the participants to, be mindful of like networking and marketing, because networking is the number one way how you find a job. And especially in a city like Baltimore, everything is all about relationships. So I figure, okay, we can get these people on board. And then if we could get one business to grow, for example, this upholstery business, it's a guy named Warren who has a business on 1917 Greenmont, I think. It's right down the street. So he has this business. He just got this contract with the Belvedere. So if we can secure more contracts, and I sat down with him, we talked about how we can scale up and create sort of like an assembly line. We can bring people in, train them up to like 6 months to a year, where they can be as good as Warren, and then we can have them work there and develop skills and stuff like that. So maybe these people can either stay or they can develop enough skills and training where they can go get another job. But either way, it will be creating jobs for the community. Another thing is the janitorial business. It's the same concept. You secure some contracts, you bring some people on and you start training them. Because another thing I noticed from going around and looking at all the workforce development programs is that they stress a lot of job readiness training. For example, the Strive program, I recently went over there and checked out their job readiness program, and it's real intensive job readiness. So I feel like as an employer, and you can't really fault the employer, if you look at a person and you meet them and they, kind of rough around the edges, you might be a little reluctant to hire them. I mean, I sort of understand that. But like on the flip side, people in these neighborhoods, they need more job readiness training or more skill building, and you can't do it in like a few hours. You have to get them in the habit of getting up in the morning, pulling their pants up, presenting themselves. And if a person's been doing that for 20 years, you can't expect them to stop doing it in 3, 4, 5 hours. It has to be something that goes on over a period of weeks. It's like an antibiotic. If you get sick, you can't take one dose of antibiotics for it to go away. You got to take it for a couple of days for it to go away. So that's what I'm pitching. People can come on and go through this and start developing a habit of being professional, getting up and going to work. So that's what I want to instill in them in this program, and that's what I hope to do. And I figure, what's the options? Like, either I could fail and, so be it, I'm not afraid of failing, or I can jump out there and try something. I'd rather do this because there's no shortage of complainers in the city. Everybody's complaining, it's trash here, we got the gangs here, and people don't listen. Well, what are you doing? So like, my philosophy is just, roll your sleeves up and let's get something done. So, if anyone's interested in coming on board and helping out, I could be reached. My email address is cwilson@greaterhomewood.org, and my phone number is 443-324-3918. So